Hello Switchblade collectors, this is Will here with another video of my latest progress collecting George Schrade branded switchblades. These were all made pre-1958, some of them a lot earlier. I've been collecting them for a couple years, probably a year or so now. I feel like I've made quite a dent in collecting what I'm wanting to collect, and luckily there's enough of them out there that people are wanting to sell. Recently I've started collecting the press button knife company. It was a early George Schrade branded knife, and it has the actuator button on the side of the bolster. This first one here was one of my first ones I bought. It was just a parts knife. It didn't work. The spring was broke. But I'm looking to try to utilize this blade eventually on one of these other knives. This one here, as you can see, some of the jigging is different on it. This one here, the blade is quite shot. Spring's a little light, but the handles on it are just gorgeous. I mean, there's no cracks. Excellent. These would be considered the Victor. All three of these have the notch cut out and the hole in the blade, which would have had a swing guard attached to it. I'm looking eventually to try to reproduce the swing guards. I think it's something that can be made and reproduced to a point where it's just a matter of milling them out. This one here I just got recently. It's got a spring broken on it, but the blade is full on it. So once I get swing guards and springs and everything fixed on it, then it'll be fully operational. Moving over to here, these are my 4 1/4 Schrade Cutco switchblades. This was one of the very first ones that I ever got. When I had bought it, it was really pitted up and rusted. But since then, I had used a belt sander. I've got a little 1-inch belt sander, and cleaned the blade up quite a bit. It did thin it, but I'd rather it be thinner than just really pitted up. It could use some better polishing to bring it up, but as a quick little cleanup job done on the belt sander, it came out really good. Belt sanded the back, the spring and the bolsters, and it came out pretty good for just something quick to do. This one here would be considered a M2 paratrooper. It's got jigged handles on it. I think they're celluloid, but maybe Delrin. It's a Schrade Walden, New York. No rear tang stamp. This one here it's an M2 paratrooper. This is one of the more sought after knives here. It has the worm or brain type scales on it, celluloid, maybe Delrin. But this is definitely a military issue type knife that would have been given to paratroopers. It's a Presto. It's got the Made in USA, patented January 30th, or 1930, 1940. And the George Schrade knife company. Very nice looking knife. Here we go into some of the larger models. This one here is a 4 7/8 single switchblade. It's Schrade in Walden, New York. This one is a model 154. So it has a steel, carbon steel blade, steel bolsters, got some brass pins in it. Nice knife. Here is an early jigged bone model. It's a Schrade Cutco. See if I can zoom in on it. This one here had early tang stamp on it, which would have been pre-19. That's really dark. This one would have been in pre-1910 model. Here we go into the swing guard versions. This first one I have here is a Taylor Brands remake of these three here. As you notice, this one doesn't have the locking mechanism on it, and it does have a nail nick. This one was made as a manual version of these for a commemorative remake of it about 10 years ago. This one I had converted to a switchblade. So I did a video on my YouTube channel you can find where I show how I did it, and fires good, everlasting sharp. This is one of the charter member ones, 1/600. They did make another one in 2010. I think this one's a 2008. It doesn't have the charter member number on it, and the scales are in the newer or the later model are quite a bit wider than this. They actually stick up quite a bit more. I like this version a lot better. Here we come to the black celluloid handled Hunter's Pride. This one I had refurbed, and it's on my YouTube channel. I did it start to finish. I used donor scales to replace the missing scales on the knife. Beautiful polish on the blade. It is a Schrade Cutco tang stamp. I don't know if I can get it. And it has, you know, all the years of the, I think it's 1916. This one has carbon steel blades, carbon swing guards, carbon bolsters. So it was a bear to polish, but I eventually got it. Here's a couple of really nice looking bone handle Schrade Hunter's Prides. This one I did a little bit of restoration when I got it to the blade, but the handles on this are immaculate. There's no cracks. It's just beautiful knife. It's got nickel silver bolsters, nickel silver pins, nickel silver swing guards. It's just a beautiful knife. And I love how they used to use a torch to blacken areas of the bone scale. It really made it look distinctive and kind of worn. Here we have an identical model. This one is a Schrade Hardware company model. It was made by Schrade. Same nickel silver everywhere. Sometimes they jam up. Just got to do them right. Beautiful looking knife. Jig bone handles. Schrade Hardware was a big hardware outfit in the early to mid 1900s. They were kind of like craftsmen. They would sell knives through their catalogs and their stores, but they wanted their branding on that knife. So instead of it being a Schrade right there, it's a Schrade. But beautiful knife. Here we come to the metal scale versions of the Schrade Presto paratrooper-like knives. This one doesn't have a bail on it. These were stamped out of sheet steel, and the handles were painted black to look like the jigged type handles on these other knives. It's the Presto. Here's a couple with some bails on them. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Just depends on how. There we go. Presto. It's got a good blade on it. Some of them have beryllium copper kick springs, which I thought's kind of neat. I think this one, if you could see it, you can kind of see the kick spring coming out there. It's the only knife I got that I can shake it and get the kick spring to kind of come out. But this is one of the copper beryllium ones. And here's a 4 1/4, same type of model. That's a Presto. I was just wanting to show you my collection. Comment or question in the comments section, please. And please subscribe to my channel. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.